Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest. We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it? He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
Yo. Peace and blessings to the people. Happy Tuesday. I hope all is well. Shout out to Rob. Shout out my poets, my writers, my content creators. You know who you are. If you've been a part of this panel, if you've been a part of any open mics, salutes to you. Much love. Thank you. To everyone who has pulled up and showed love to the channel, I want to say thank you as well. Let's get this on the screen. I got Sydney and Jason in the building. I got a video for us to watch. It fits the title, I promise you. If you have any topics, any questions, anything that you would like to see discussed up here, shoot me an email, a DM. I'm very responsive. It doesn't take me very long to get back to anyone unless I'm super busy. Most importantly, let's have a good time tonight. Hopefully you get something out of this discussion. I am going to be doing a virtual open mic this week. Hopefully, be on the lookout for that. Let the people know that we live, like, repost, share. This might be of some interest to a lot of you. Jason, Sydney, good afternoon, good evening.
What is going on? And already we hear the kids are crying.
Yeah, she's weaning, so she's not happy. So
she's what?
She's weaning.
Oh.
Yeah, so she's pissed.
She'll get over it. Kids bounce, physically and emotionally.
Yeah.
It's the parents. It's really the parents that have the biggest problem. It's not the kids.
Right on, right on. We almost at the mid mark of the week. How's everything been with you guys so far? Going into Wednesday.
I forgot to say this yesterday because everything I was running all over the place trying to set everything up. But this weekend, from Thursday to Sunday, or Friday to Monday, something like that, I took part in this 100 hours consistent broadcast that a whole bunch of scientists put on. And so every half-hour segment was a different scientist presenting their scientific research on weather and the Arctic and all sorts of different things within the realm of science. And that was incredibly cool. I ended up making a lot of friends through there. And we kind of created a whole network of scientists that are talking about a lot of these really important issues. So I thought that was a really cool experience because especially right now, I've been craving more community-based type of activity. And yeah, it was really cool to have that.
That sounds dope. Let me ask you, how often does that happen? Is this a yearly thing? Is this a monthly thing?
They did this because of I don't know I forgot what it's called, but whatever they just passed through Congress, and so they're trying to pass it through Senate, that whole bill that's basically gutting everything, including NASA and NOAA. So that's what this was about. It was also bringing awareness to all of the budget cuts that are happening to scientists and weather reporting programs that are really important for people. So besides them presenting their research, they also explained why their research is important to everyday community members and the impact of losing those sources of support. So it was leading up to the election, the Senate vote, which happens this week, I think. But they basically were having people also call their senators to be like, "Don't vote for that, please." So it was half scientific and half political, but it was really cool to participate in and very uplifting given everything that's happening right now.
Okay. Jason, what's going on, man? How's your projects and everything going?
Oh man, it is it's exciting. So I've basically got all the videos recorded. I'm creating the website right now, and I'm gathering all of the initial leads that are going to serve as my lookalike audience, as well as my initial burst for breaking into the market. And it's looking really promising. I've already sent some of the information, not a lot, but at least some of what I've created to people who are in the marketing space. And they've already been like, where do I sign up? And I'm like, well, do you make between $2 and $10 million per year? Like, no. I'm like, you'll have to wait. Because this is I'm making sure to keep this for a very specific audience for a very specific reason, because this market, from what I've seen, the research that I've done, this market in particular, this range, is going to be the first affected. And then of course the ones that are lower tier, they're also going to be affected, but it's I hate to say it like this, but I don't care about them because they really aren't that important. They're not my preferred audience. So in the grand scheme of things, those who are lower tier, it's like, yeah, okay, you're gonna have to wait in line. And the ones that actually make a difference start at this level and then just move up. So It's turning into quite the project. Basically, it's turning marketers into psychological operators. And so if you know anything about psyops, it basically, psyops is the military study of psychological warfare. But in the terms of marketing, it's not so much a warfare as it is about helping people understand, while they use the AI tools that have effectively replaced them in about 5 years, how to best tailor those messages, those tools, to create something that AI can't duplicate.
Okay.
I said a lot of words, I know. I probably made it way more complicated sounding than it actually is. I'm good at that.
It's all good, bro. I already know you enjoying yourself.
That's how you can tell somebody's a professional, is they make it needlessly complicated in speech, at least.
Yeah, well, actually, the core of it, utilizing it is going to be quite easy. It's going to take a bit of a mental shift, but once you make the mental shift, like, oh, why wasn't I doing this before? Like, because no one taught you.
Speaking of, this particular video might be of some interest to you and the viewer. I took this particular clip from tonight's conversation. Shout out to them. You'll see here in a second. I'm gonna play it. I'm not going to interrupt it. And it was pretty much to me talking about how specific people do not do the work to have the type of relationship or companionship that they ask for, even though they rant and rave about it so much. So let me bring this on the screen.
This has to do in therapy.
All right. We'll get y'all feedback in a second. I'm just going to let it run.
I'm saying this as a dude in therapy. I'm saying this as a dude that. But before we clap, ladies, let's have a conversation. Because I think a lot of times when men open up about what we've gone through, go to therapy is the dismissive answer we get, when most of those people who dismiss people haven't been to therapy themselves. So I'm saying this from that place. As a nigga who is doing the work, you realize who ain't. And I've, in my dating experience, since prioritizing my mental health, my spiritual health, my religious health, all of those things, I've realized that there are women in my dating experience, if the shoe don't fit, all right, because nobody in the room ever seems to wear the ugly shoes, my nigga. I realize a lot of women date emotionally unavailable men. That way they can point the finger, because they're not emotionally available either, and you don't have to do the labor of finding out what's going on with you when you date a man that's worse off than you. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're used to being the one that can't be caught. You're used to being aloof. You're used to not being so when you get with a man who got more red flags than you, it's easier to point at him and say he's the problem, and you walk off and don't do no more work. And then you meet a nigga who actually is emotionally intelligent. You meet a dude that actually does communicate in real time when something is wrong. You meet a dude that actually does have boundaries, and now you look funny in the light. And I'm just saying, I don't know y'all personally. I'm only speaking from my experience. A lot of women be looking funny as fuck in the light, bruh. When you standing across from a dude that's actually healthy, who can talk to you in real time, who when you catch your attitude, never leaves this place right here. You be looking real funny in the light, bro. So when we talk about like a man that's emotionally available, like when Shorty was talking about, you don't want to leave that nigga, bruh. You high key, you don't want to do the work it take to be with a man who got more than dick. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying this to shit on you. I'm not saying this to town on you, because I done stuck with some women who had some good coochie, and that was the way I justified not staying with them, but staying where I was in my life.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was easy. It was easy for me to stay. Hey, you feel me? So it's like, bro, if you dealing with anybody, bro, ladies, fellas, gender non-conform, I don't care who in the room, when you dealing with somebody where you gotta put commas in the reasons you fuck with them, I fuck with them, but I would fuck with them more if it's you. It ain't got shit to do with them. You justifying why you stand in a fucked up position say way more about you than whoever it is that's in that position with you, bro.
Ooh.
Let's talk about it.
I've seen this this dude talking about all kinds of relationship stuff before on TikTok. I love him. I think he's amazing. He knows his stuff, and he's the kind of person that I really enjoy paying attention to, because he does have his thumb on the pulse of what is real. Some good stuff.
I also very much agree with him, and I think it's refreshing to hear that perspective, because even as a female, admittedly, there's a lot of hate towards men, and there's a lot of shifting the blame towards men for all of the problems in relationships, when it's very much on both sides. It is definitely not just men. There's a lot of dysfunction from women as well.
Yeah, I listen to him a lot myself, and one of the main reasons why that broadcast eventually split is because the level of maturity that he displayed on his show and the wisdom that he was dropping, it got to a point to where he required more. He wanted to get paid more, because a lot of the audience was tuning in for him specifically, and I think that made people envious of it, and they parted ways. He's doing his own thing now, but a lot of what he said I agree with, especially when we would rather stay in toxic relationships, or that archetype of man or woman is always in a merry-go-round of similar attitude, the way they dress, the way they talk, the way they kind of just deal with life in general is always typically the same type of person. And so when things go wrong, it's easier not to look at yourself and say, well, maybe it's because I'm doing something here, or it's because I just refused to face my demons head on and acknowledge it and fix it. But what I would do is put a Band-Aid on it, and I would just continuously go out here, and hopefully I can get them to nullify all of my issues, and it don't work that way. And I've seen that happen a lot. You break up with somebody that did you dirty, but you get into another relationship with someone who does similar things, and then when you start having conversation with your friends, and you always blame them for this, that, and the third, and oh, I'm sick and tired of men, I'm sick and tired of this. Well, you can't keep on pointing at everybody else. Eventually you're going to have to look at yourself too. I got a question. Is it possible to date someone like that? Now, I did reaction video 2 weeks ago, and the guy, he was saying, I'm a high value man, I make this kind of money. I don't care if my woman is broken. I don't care if she's chosen. I don't care if she's mentally sound. She can be broken. I'm so good of a guy. I'm so established in life that I can take that broken woman and I can turn her into Princess Diana. Is that possible? Can that be done?
No.
I'll add that. Not unless she wants to.
Well, here's the thing.
And puts in the effort.
Yes. Here's the thing. I've actually been going through Kevin Samuel's podcast, God rest his soul, over again. And one thing that he talks about is the idea of the Henry. And he identifies Henry. It's an acronym that stands for High Earner Not Ready Yet. And basically, this is someone who, yeah, they make a lot of money, but they aren't really a high value man because it's more than just about the money. You could be making the money and not be a high value man. And it's a really important distinction because it has more to do than just the money. It's the influence that you wield, the circles that you surround yourself with, and the way in which you conduct yourself in your behavior. It all comes in to create a high value person. And I don't know of a real high value man that would see a broken woman and say, "Oh, I can save her." That is low functioning behavior.
His attitude about it in general was very dysfunctional. Like it had kind of a tinge of superiority to it. Like, I can come in and fix it for her. Like, I can be the prince for her.
And that's a huge red flag because now you're talking about someone who has a wound of their own they feel they need to use to justify who they are. And this goes back to my book, The Leading Man, a practical guide for men to lead with strength with strength and vision. Yes, and I bring this up because in order for you to really be able to be in a successful relationship, you have to understand how you stand with power. And if you're standing in your wound, you are giving away your power. And people who do this, especially when they are looking at a woman and say, "I can save her," this usually comes across as someone who needs to be recognized, needs to be seen as someone who has value, and often gives of themselves so much that they begin to sacrifice. And it's never healthy when that happens. So the idea of a high value man and a person who says, "I can save her," they don't match. They are completely they're completely opposite of each other. It does not compute. I yield the mic. Desperado, what's up, man?
What's up? How y'all doing tonight? How's it been? It's been ages, Mr. Jason. How you been?
I've been well, thanks. It's been a minute.
Oh yeah. So this is the discussion for tonight. We had these situations happen a lot though. We sure do.
You got a chance to see the video, but I have a question for you, and it's separate from the one I just asked. If you are an emotionally unavailable man dealing with a woman who has her stuff together, she's in order, will that relationship work? Can it work? Is it possible?
Well, no, because it requires both people. It requires the co-creation of reality. So you have to have two people that are willing to work in a way that is well adjusted. If you've got one that's well adjusted and one that needs work, the first thing that needs to happen is an equalization of power has to be made. And that equalization has to come in the form of both people seeing each other as equals, so they can work together. A person who is wounded is often competing because they themselves don't see themselves as being worthy. And when you don't see yourself as worthy, you can't possibly create something that is worthwhile. So I don't care where you are in life. If you are suffering, the worst thing you can do is just try to find a relationship and hope that's going to solve things. That's a great way for both people to be miserable, and a great way for an entire family to be miserable. You have to be willing to do the work yourself first. Or you can be in a unique situation like I was in, where you meet the right person that sparks your desire to do the work. That creates the need, saying, I know that I could be a better person. This person really, just the way that they are, inspires me to be better. One of those two things has to happen. Without one of those things happening, it's impossible for a relationship to flourish. And even then, both people have to be willing to grow together. They have to do the growth separately, but they have to be willing to grow together.
I can definitely attest to that, because that was the situation my husband and I got into. Is when we first got together, both of us were very dysfunctional. We both had addiction issues. Minor addictions, not like hardcore drugs or anything. But we had, we didn't know how to handle our ADHD. Like, we didn't have routines or schedules. We were spending money like crazy. Like, we had a lot of dysfunction. But by us being together and us making the commitment to stay together and work together, both of us were able to better our situations. But the reason why it worked is because we weren't dysfunctional towards each other. We were dysfunctional, but we still had each other's backs and were willing to lift each other up and keep each other going. And one of the nice things too is we have separate, very separate interests, very separate skill sets. And so we're able to better each other through our own ways, which makes us more of a roundabout person. Like, I would not be exercising if it was not for him, and he would not be reading if it weren't for me. So it's very case by case basis, because it really, really matters how much somebody actually wants to engage in themselves, their own progress, and the relationship, because they really have to go together. If you're going to be doing work on yourself, you have to work on yourself, and you have to adjust your relationship as that's happening.
Desperado, I'm giving you the floor, man.
Yo, well, what I'm gonna put on it is this. I'm gonna say, if the woman is, like you say, she got all her stuff together, her ducks all in order, and she's dealing with a guy who's emotionally unavailable. That means he's a scumbag. Um, Touching back on that video, that's pretty much be the situations, man. Like, women that got it together like that, they will choose a guy that's emotionally unavailable to try to control, kind of like try to control him a little bit and get him on her page, and get him to do the things that she wants. Some women would do that, but in most cases, if the guy is scumbag like that, he's either going, well, because I'm gonna say, because the guy supposed to be, in the lead anyway. If you're gonna have a relationship, he's gonna end up bringing that woman down if he don't have nothing going for himself. He's awful. You see what I'm saying? So everything that she's doing, she's gonna drain herself emotionally, trying to lift him up when really it's supposed to be the other way around. He's supposed to be, putting more energy into the situation, so he can really fuck that relationship completely up. To be honest, because he ain't dead here. He ain't got no progress going on for himself, and he's gonna wear that woman out, and she's gonna probably lose her job and all of that, maybe, if she try to like chase him and stick it out with him. It can be like that too.
So does a person really have? Does a woman really have her shit in order if she's dealing with someone who's emotionally unavailable? Then
No, no, I can't say that she do because she's looking at it from the emotional lens. You know what I'm saying? She's not thinking logical. If she was thinking logical, she wouldn't choose no scumbag. She would choose somebody that's got something going for herself so they can bring it together like they were describing a relationship and you can bring it together and build and go to the top. You ain't gonna be able to go to the top because there's gonna be always somebody pulling you down because they emotionally not there. They're dependent on one side of relationships don't work. It's either gonna go one way or the other. And mainly, like I said, the man is the one gotta lift everything up. And if she can't do that,
I'm going to offer a caveat there and say that she can't do that long term. And the reason why I say that is because, yes, a woman can lead, but a woman's leadership is more about nurturing. It's meant to be more about cultivating and it's about creating a space worth living in. And when they are forced into the role that the masculine energy would normally rule, that's only meant to be for a short time. I can cover this until you are ready. Is the message that is supposed to be sent? Not give me the reins because I'm going to cover this bitch. That's not their role. The role is I'm going to take on your duties temporarily while you get your shit taken care of. So get it taken care of
like we was
because this
talking
is
about with the TV dads, remember? With the TV dads with James Evans in Florida, same thing. She'll pick it up. She'll pick it up for a minute, but she's not gonna stay with you if you don't get it together, Mr. Evans. She's out the door.
right because she's not supposed to. She's not supposed
That's
to.
not her. That's not her duty. It's a man's
Exactly.
duty to provide. If
Exactly.
a woman has to provide for a man, she's out of her role, like you said, and she's gonna get drained, tired, and leave.
why do you keep coming for James Evans, man? This is like the 80th time we've had this conversation.
I'm
Because
just using that. I'm just using the topic for another example. That's all.
but you always pick on him in Florida.
All right, well, I
Brothers
can
DZ.
go. I can go to Bill Cosby and Claire. Claire was able to take care of Bill because she was a lawyer, and if Bill didn't get it together, he gone.
That deserves a button.
He gone. How about that?
And so what I was going with this is if he exactly what this brother was saying, if he doesn't get his shit together, she's basically left feeling bitter because now she's having to do two roles, and no one person can perform the masculine and the feminine role at the same time. It is absolutely impossible. They're both way too big for one person to do alone. It was never
I
meant to happen.
I can 100% attest to what you just said because I have experienced this firsthand. Not only have we had the experience where I was more focused on self-development than he was, and there was a time period where he was stagnating and I was moving forward quickly, and I was getting frustrated because I'm like, you're not helping, you're not doing anything, you're not cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm working, I'm doing everything, and you're not doing anything except gaming. And like, this was a long time ago, so we've definitely, like, he is leagues better than that, but that created so much resentment, and we almost broke up because of it. The only reason we stayed together was because we got evicted from our apartment, and so we decided to work, like, by being forced to work on that together, it forced us together, and we really grew together through that experience. But if that had persisted, we would not be together. And I still experience that today, in the sense that, like, in the term of a woman cannot lead the household by herself long term, because my husband goes overseas. He's in the Navy and he has to go on trips for long periods of time. I have to have my mother-in-law come out and help me because I cannot manage a house and two kids and myself all at the same time. It's incredibly hard. And I remember how, like, I was before you guys met me, like, when I still had my daughter and she was really little and my son was only about 2, 3.5. I was pulling my hair out. Like my hair was going gray every day because it's so incredibly stressful. So any woman who's full of herself enough to think that she can do it all by herself, she's wrong.
So they're just lying about it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the problem is they're in their heads. Conceptually, yeah, it sounds good, but these people aren't tested. They haven't been tested in the way of life. I mean, men.
There's people that look at a situation and they imagine what they think they do, but then they get in the situation and they don't.
So if they can really handle it, we wouldn't exist. What the hell are we here for? Then?
So here's the thing. As men, Mel Desperado, I'm sure that you can attest to this. We get tested all the time. As kids, we were tested to hell. As far as are you worth what you say you're worth? And as men, we've had to prove ourselves every single day. We've had to prove our value. But in proving our value, we also prove that we are we are worthy of leading and worthy of being followed. Women who think that they can work as a man, they've never been tested. They've never had to deal with that kind of bullshit. And so they come and it's like, well, I can do it, man. Bullshit, you can't. You don't know shit. You are so full of yourself. I long for the day where you actually get tested and then you shit your pants because you realize how hard it really is, and you don't want that.
The first roadblock is gonna be emotional destruction. Oh man, I just ran into the corner. Good gracious, it's hard out here.
So the real reason, and this is something that I've thought about a lot, and he said it in the video, when you get a guy who is spiritually, mentally, emotionally set, he's in shape, like he exercised all of his muscles, not just his arms, legs. I'm talking about his brain power, his spiritual power. Once he's aligned properly and he knows how to talk to you because he understands how important conversations is, how important context is, how important interpersonal connection is, the dynamics between your physiological being and his. And once a person is like here and he can present that to you, if you aren't there, you know it. I think ultimately most people know it. They sense it. They can tell by how you walk, how you carry yourself. And because they know it, they withdraw. And I've noticed that you're not going to see it subtly sometimes. Sometimes it might be loud. Sometimes it might be silent. But when a person is telling you that it's a red flag, sometimes they will do it in ways where you think they are being the complete asshole. They're being bitches. They're being this. No, they're trying to tell you they're not really ready for what you are and what you bring, because they're still somewhere that they ain't ready to come out of.
I think a big problem is the fact that women misunderstand the term submission, where the term of being submissive. It's not being submissive to a man. It's being submissive to the role of femininity. That's what it is. Being willing to pick up the role of being feminine, because it's a very powerful role. It's a role that men can't do. And it's a role that is absolutely necessary in order for civilizations to thrive. Both masculinity and femininity are two halves of the perfect whole. They're basically, if you think of a bird, they're basically the two wings of a bird. And if they aren't both developed, the bird ain't going nowhere. But if they are equally developed, then the bird is going to be able to soar. It is going to be able to. There's no limit. And humanity is the exact same way. So women, they're not submitting to the man, they're submitting to their femininity. And unless they're willing to do that, unless they're willing to pick up that role of being that feminine force, because you can have power in femininity. It is absolutely possible. When you pick up that role and you decide to work with it, what you are doing is you are allowing yourself to be led by the vision of masculinity. Masculine leads, always have, always will. And it's the ability to lead by resolving conflict in order to achieve a shared goal. That is the role of masculinity. And when femininity says, I'm going to build a life that honors this and make it something worth living, any man who hears that, he's going to say, I will give you whatever you need in order to make that happen. Prove me wrong. I yield the mic.
Two things. One, off of what you just said, I forgot, I don't remember what the exact quote was, but I remember somebody talking about the men's role is to manage the external part of the house, the home, and the woman is for the internal part of the home. So he's meant to be protecting and like doing all the stuff outside the house. She's supposed to be the one maintaining the order for the people inside the house, the atmosphere that exists inside the house. I also wanted to ask, do you think that women who are like, oh, I can do it all, I don't need a man, whatever, do you think that's controlling behavior, or do you think that's their way of, like, they have some sort of deep-seated insecurity and they need to, like, build themselves up by making them think that they can do everything? What do you think might be behind that?
It's the exact same thing. Exactly. I was going to, on what Desperado said. It's both. Yep.
Both.
Because they're both the same thing. The control is the insecurity. The insecurity is the control.
It's manipulation. It's manipulation.
Yeah, I might have to go with them on that one. You're scared. To me, you don't. It's something about not wanting to say, I put this in your hands. It's almost like you're not my dad. You're not going to tell me what to do. I already have a father for that. The problem is when you get married, if you get married, the role of the father gets passed on to the husband. So it's like, that's where I think there's a issue. Because if you don't respect your father, I know damn well you're not going to respect your husband.
And most women should seek qualities in their mate like their dad, if the dad is the one that raised them. So when she get with you, she supposed to already yield on that masculinity. Because if she get with somebody that's not like her dad and all that, she already knows she in the lead. She taking over that man. She's masculine. She gonna man up on him. Because what? You're nothing like who raised me, so why the hell I'm gonna listen to you? I'm gonna do this the way I want to do it, and if you're gonna be with me, you gonna do it the way I'm telling you to do it. I'm not trying to hear nothing you guys say. All that masculine come up because you're not what she's used to. She's not respecting where you coming from. So what I like to call what you broke down with being emotionally ready and intelligent and all of that as a man, that's called grown man pressure. You got grown man pressure out here, you got grown woman pressure out here. Yeah, the real man will step up. Little boy's gonna run away from that grown woman pressure. Yeah, because there's women that'll put pressure on a man too and see what's up. And when that happens, your card get pulled. Either you're gonna respond the way your track record has been. Like if you've been with people that haven't been emotionally there, you gonna cower down to that grown man pressure. You don't want to listen to that man. You know he right. He's telling you the right stuff to do, and you're trying to back away because you're not mature enough to receive what he's saying. It's an immaturity in that woman. She want to be a little girl. Vice versa. The man, he's not really a man. He's a little boy. He's not ready to be the man that she needs him to be because she putting that grown woman pressure on him. You see what I'm saying? So got something to offer, but it have to be equal, man. You know what I'm saying? He can't lead a woman that's rebellious, that's masculine, not trying to hear nothing he gotta say. And then a woman can't be led by a man that's immature. She's not going to be led by him because he's not man enough to take her where she need to go. She's not willing to concede for his lead because he wasn't brung up right. So it go both ways: grown man pressure, grown woman pressure.
I love those terms. It so accurately talks about what it is we've been talking about. It describes very well what we've been talking about. Absolutely. And what's funny is that when men act with that grown man pressure, they step up to that pressure, and they bear it because they can. Women who have that grown woman pressure recognize that, okay, all right, we can work together. I see that you're not going to bow down. In marketing, there's this one guy. His name is Frank Kern. He's he's one of the most prolific marketers in the digital marketing space, and he talks about something called the shit test. And it's basically that moment where you get that question that kind of makes you either buckle or you rise up to it because you know your shit. And it's the exact same thing. Why should I let you lead me? She asks. Because I have the vision and I know exactly what we need, he says. And he demonstrates it. Okay. All right. Bet. Let's go. And that is really the constant dance that happens. He's leading. She tries to do some squirrely shit that's going to try to throw him off his game. He's like, nope, we're going this way. And she's like, okay. And they just keep on dancing.
He know the answers. And imposter ain't gonna know the answers. He's not gonna be able to step up. That's gonna be the difference with that shit test.
But you know what's missing here? The upbringing, the nuclear household, where you got this cohesion between the mother and the father. Both of them teach the child specific things based on their inherent nature that the other person can't do. So the man, he can teach you how to be the same way a mother can teach a daughter to be a wife, a man can teach his daughter to be a wife. The only difference is his approach to it is going to be slightly different from hers, because he's going to teach her, well, this is what men like. And if you want this guy, you're going to have to do certain things, and you're going to have to bend at certain, you're not going to be able to be a brat. And this, the mom is going to be a little different with her approach. So it's like, she's not going to be able to tell him, oh, you don't fall off the bike and bust your ass. She's going to be trying to protect him from the scars and the bruises. He's going to be like, let me toss you around a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let's wrestle. Let me power bomb you all, because that's how my uncles was with me. I got folded and tossed and all, like it didn't make or break me. So it's like, if you don't have that there, it's confusing, and it does bring a different challenge to your developments when you get older, because it's like, all right, let's say you have one parent over the other. Now what?
That argument only works for so long, because when you're an adult, you are responsible for your continued emotional development. yeah, your parents are meant to set you up for a certain expectation, but once you hit adulthood, now it's your job. And if you play the victim role, if you play the role of, oh, I didn't learn this, poor me, no one gives a shit. First of all, second of all, the most important thing is to be able to take what you have and do better. And I'm someone who can say that because I lived that. I came from a very chaotic household. My mother was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. You don't get more fucked up than that. And my father did the best that he could, but there were basically four victims in that household. There was my mother, there was my sister, myself, and my father. We were all victims in that household. Now, it'd be very easy to as an adult, say life is unfair, boo hoo, wang wang. Shut the fuck up. The only thing that I could do is to understand that I am responsible for my own personal development. I have to do what I have to do in order to make myself healthy and make myself someone who is a man of value. That's all.
Is there anything you want to add, brother, down at the bottom? I want to make sure you get any insight or any input that you feel you need to add here. I do agree, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, we just got to be more upfront with these type of issues that we face, man, because it be a lot of guys that find imposters. If he's all the way there, and you really find out that a lot of these women don't want to, they don't want to do their part, or they wasn't brung up to do their part. I'll say that, and or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? A woman can be raised right, like you were saying, with the development, and she's ready, and she meets somebody, and they're not all the way there. So that's the whole thing about getting it to match. You got to match up.
Who do you since you made this post? Let me ask. This will go for everybody. Who do you think has a better chance at giving you a combination of both with this how and why?
There's no one person. Like I said, it requires both the feminine and the masculine in order to really get well-rounded. The how is going to teach you the steps, the tactics, but it's going to lack the emotional depth that femininity can give. The feminine is going to teach the emotional depth, but it's not going to give the structure. And both are absolutely necessary for a person to be well adjusted. And this is what has to be developed either from your household moving forward or despite your household moving forward. In any case, you are responsible for your continued development, and it's always about continued development. But yes, the masculine teaches the how. It teaches the structure. These are the rules of the game. This is how it's played. The mothers this is how you make the game fun. This is why you keep coming back.
It kind of makes me think of the idea that basically villages raise children. It's never just like one person is never going to be fully capable of raising a person by themselves without any other input. And so you have to have different perspectives because one person is limited in their field of understanding. Like every single person out there has limitations on their knowledge, on their emotional development, on everything. And it's important to have other people around you in general. That way they're exposed to more than just a microcosm of one single individual. So you need to have that balance. So the child, one, understands how the world actually works. And so they aren't completely blindsided when they become an adult and find out the hard way of how everything works socially. I mean, in other ways too.
Now, I will say that in the way that society is structured, a father has a much better chance of raising a child that is going to conform to the rules of society and be able to demonstrate their ability to work within that structure. However, they're going to lack the proclivity for emotional connection, deep emotional connection. And while structure is important, emotional connection is as important.
I was just going to say that too.
Got to be a balance. Everything is a balance in life.
I was
Both of those teachers create that kid will grow up with life skills, how to be flexible. Because with the examples y'all got, that's called being flexible to anything life throws at you, and that's why you got two parents instead of one.
I was gonna make a joke earlier when we were talking about what it means to be a man, and for the women that are like, oh, I can do it all. I'm like, oh, you want to be a man? All right, go up on your roof, fix those holes in there, go up to your attic, sweep out those black widows. Let's go ahead and fix your plumbing. Let's plunge your toilet. So you don't need a man, really. I've heard that perspective from women where they're like, uh, oh, I don't need a husband because I can just hire somebody to do everything for myself. And somebody in the comments was like, so you're never going to, because she was saying like, I'm never going to do anything around the house. I don't have to do that. I can just hire everyone. And so they're like, so what happens if your toilet gets clogged? You're just going to call somebody to do that for you and charge you $150 just to do something you could do yourself.
I
Um,
just I just heard a joke about what you touching on about she don't need a man somebody knocking at the door late at night and she you got to get the man to go to the door and she say somebody's at my door, you got to go get the door, and then he say, well, it must be that other woman. Then she just turns into she man and go go to the door and get. He says it must be the other woman. Then she turns into the man. I don't see who it is.
This is one TikTok that I saw. Maybe we can actually do this on another Tuesday, which would be good. But it was this woman who was saying that she was saying that I don't think women want equal treatment. I think women want special treatment, and that's why they've decided that they want to act as a man, even though they do so completely untested. Because if they were tested, like, I quit, I don't want to do it anymore, I'm done, this is too hard, put me back in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant, I'll take that all day, every day. Because what you got going on, hell no!
I got a reaction video we're probably going to drop tomorrow. Shout out to No Fugazi. The woman, man, I don't know. The stuff that some of y'all be saying out your mouth be having me kind of just covering my face. But you sound like you're 5 years old, and I don't know where you get your information from, but you look dumb. You need to just shut up and don't even get on the camera. Unless you're just baiting people into responding to you, just don't say nothing at all, for real. Don't blame me because you failed to fix your shit. You want to keep on picking douchebags and that's what you are still attracted to, go ahead, go for it. I will not entertain you. I will dissipate out of your life dramatically. I learned the hard way. When you are emotionally unavailable, when you're screwed up, when you discombobulated, you can't make proper decisions. You can't guide anybody. Don't even give out advice. Don't even get involved with people. Don't bring people into your life when you don't have no direction yourself.
Big facts.
And there's too many people doing it right now on TikTok, on Twitter, on Threads, on Facebook. Everybody got advice. Everybody's trying to teach you how to do this and do that. Hell, you know it's fucked up when you got pay pigs. And I said this last week, the pay pig thing. You know it's fucked up out here when people are telling you how to become a pay pig and why would you give another woman that type of advice? You ain't healed.
What is a pay pig?
A pay pig is a guy who likes to be financially dominated by pregnant women. Yeah. It's not and they it's like OnlyFans but with pregnant women.
Weakness.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I almost wish I didn't know that.
And now you'll never unknow it.
Yeah.
Man, this is a good one.
Yeah. My closing thoughts. If you've never been an emotionally unavailable person, you'll probably never understand what happens to you. What happens to your path, how far it throws you off, how it affects other people around you.
You might understand it if you're subjected to it, but yeah.
Yeah. I think it's sad that people would rather stay in it than to try to get out of it. Especially at this age. Instead of getting online and complaining and doing this, go ahead and read a book, do some research, get some help, fellowship, get around some older women who know their stuff. That's not going to sabotage you.
Stop it. Get help.
I got to get that one back up here too. I'm still working on my soundboard. I got a few of them back. I got to get the rest of them back up here though. Emotionally unavailable people who deal with folks that are just like them, it's never going to work. You're never going to get anywhere in that relationship. If you know you have these issues, matter of fact, let's do this to close out. For everybody, give me one identifier, one red flag that a person who's emotionally unavailable have that you should look out for. If you're the person who has it, or you're dealing with someone who might be that person, one trait that that you should be looking out for in the person or in yourself.
Emotional yo-yoing.
Okay.
I had one and then I forgot it. Say the question again, and then it'll probably pop in my head again.
So, name one red flag or trait that a person exhibits when they are emotionally unavailable.
They either are very dismissive when you're talking to them, they don't want to hear what you have to say, or they're just more interested in hearing themselves talk.
How about you, Mr. Desperado?
I'm gonna say they never can be consistent. They on and off like a light switch.
It sounds like inconsistency is the biggest red flag to notice, whether it be emotionally, behaviorally, or communication wise. Everything that we've all said it goes around inconsistency.
They can be on, the light switch can be on to their benefit and then off to your benefit, like that. When it's time to return the favor, they turn it off and shut you down.
Okay, Sydney just asked the question. Why would you ask this question at the end of the broadcast? I mean, come on, Jesus.
I was very curious. I'm like, could you just imagine like two people like we don't even care about each other, but we're still coexisting because it works?
It's called codependence, and it is the definition of hell, because you've got two people who are willing to tolerate each other just enough to make each other's lives horrible, but not enough to say I'm out.
There you go. And they treat toxic relationships. Once you recognize you in them, you need to get out. But most of the time, people look at it like it's a challenge, something that they can overcome. I can change this person. I can make a better way. That's toxic. Somebody that got their shit together think they're gonna bring somebody up along the ride with them, when the whole time you going down like a plane crash. And then when you're done, when he finished draining your ass, draining your pockets, like my old boy Travis Hunter, shout out to Travis. Then we gonna start revisiting things. We're gonna revisit a lot of things. Was it worth it? So that's why I want to leave everybody with, what is it really worth with your ending? People need to start thinking about their ending in the beginning. And a lot of people don't do that when they get involved. They think about the honeymoon and all that. But think about your ending in the beginning and see if it's worth it.
Love that. You said you only wanted one trait. I want to give you a second one. Sign language. So it stands for shame, insult, guilt, and need to be right. Especially the need to be right part, because people who feel like who act like they are the ones who are right or only care about being right, it's a huge red flag. It means that they are not emotionally ready for a relationship.
Stonewalling, also.
Yeah, oh, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
Inconsiderate people. It's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yep.
You know, all right. I'm not going to drag it on too much longer, because honestly, we've talked about a lot of this stuff. You gotta be surprised at how much we've covered up here. Just go back in the catalog, you'll see what I'm talking about. In any case, thank you all for pulling up. Jason, Sammy, Desperado. Shout out to everybody in the chats. Rob and June, I appreciate you. I ain't looking for no work right now, but I'll get at you here in the future. Blessings to everybody that's watching at home, wherever you are.
Desperado, great seeing you again.
Oh, same here. Good working with both of y'all.
You as well.
Good show. Good show.
We about to get up out of here, man. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. You know the energy. I'm going back in the studio.
Sydney's got that Julia Roberts hair going on.
I know. I have to rip my hair out now that the ponytail came out, because it's just like I have a lot of hair, you guys.
You don't say.
I look like the girl Mia in the Princess Diaries, and Hathaway, whoever it was.
All right, guys, I'm out.
All right, enjoy the rest of your night, folks. We gone.
Find your match. Find your match out there.